No matter how nuclear war begins, it ends in 72 minutes and 5 billion people would be dead.
Do you think there will be a nuclear war?
So I've interviewed former secretaries of defense, the former nuclear sub-commander, the Secret Service, and what I learned was, oh my God.
Annie Jacobson, investigative researcher and writer who specializes in uncovering the world's biggest secrets.
We are one misunderstanding away from nuclear apocalypse. And yet you have presidents threatening nuclear war. In fact, the President of the United States doesn't need to ask anyone to launch a nuclear missile.
It makes me realize how important the decision to pick our leaders is.
Nothing could be more important.
Could you play out a scenario where nuclear war broke out?
Yes, and I can describe in painstaking, horrific detail precisely what happens. So... But after nuclear war, the survivors would be forced to live underground and envy the dead.
Annie, is there anyone you interviewed that brought you to tears?
Yes, I met a woman who was a survivor of the Nagasaki bomb. And I haven't written about this yet. But someone I interviewed and someone that meant a lot to me wired that nuclear weapon that was dropped on Nagasaki.
Can you speak about the impact that it had on both those individuals?
And it's horrifying.
All right. Welcome, guys. Usually we're really serious and we're sitting here and doing a Monday, Thursday night stream, delivering all the news and whatnot. But today, Saturday morning, I figured, hey, let's just scroll together because this is how I get my news. I see popular clips trending and whatnot. And of course, then I go investigate this stuff and whatnot, right? I don't just trust whatever's on the internet, but I figured, probably enjoying a nice coffee this Saturday morning. Maybe you're watching some kind of debate or whatever. Why don't we do this together? Why don't I scroll the internet with you? We can see different stuff that I already retweeted. We can look at these clips and whatnot. But before you do anything, if you're watching anywhere where you can retweet or share this with your friends, please do so, because it's unbelievable how much we get censored when we talk about just honest things, right? It's unbelievable that they want you to censor all this stuff, but share it. And if you're anywhere where you can smash that like button, please smash it. I always say, smash it like you're about to break the damn screen. That'd be really nice for us. But it's a little green weird thing in here. Don't worry about it. It's just my shake in the morning. It's my breakfast. So let me take a quick sip and we'll get the show on the road. All right. So let's start by just going on Twitter and whatnot. I think I'm gonna watch a couple debates with you guys as well. Maybe not the entire debate, right? I want to keep this not too long or anything like that. But the first thing that's on my Twitter that I retweeted was let me just go there. So this black dude, I guess he came to the Trump rally in the Bronx, and he was like, I'm not doing this. Trump supporters are racist or whatever it was. But the people that were lined up to the crowd, apparently they changed his entire outlook on the Trump movement, Trump supporters, everything like that. So let's see what was going on here. Chat, let me know in the comments if you can't hear the audio. That'd be great. Let's just rewatch the ending of that again because again, he got a bunch of great compliments. And we don't know how edited this video is, but I know everybody that's watching the stream, they can probably relate to this, is that you probably have been much more accepted by the right than you are by the left because the second that the left believes that you or knows that you're a Trump supporter, I don't want to put all the left in this, but the majority of the left, they will start to react like we saw in the end of this video. So let's watch that again. Just the brief ending when they start to go to the left side. Oh my God. It's like he's having that classic moment of realization that I feel like a lot of people on the left suddenly have, or people that are like, all right, it's the right racist. Will they not accept me? No, no, no. At the end of the day, um, the second that you come to the left and you're like, oh, I'm possibly a Trump supporter, or I may have some thoughts that agree with the other side, boom, they start to call you a Nazi, a racist, blah blah blah, all this crazy stuff, which is just very unfortunate. We got into some good fights. Let's see what Trump is talking about. Oh, Trump and Nikki Haley.
But she's a very capable person, and I'm sure she's going to be on our team. A big night last night, Nikki Haley.
It's a big statement, honestly, because obviously a lot of people, especially because of what happened during the primary season, they're not big fans of Nikki Haley. But the one thing that I always get roasted about is that I suggest that she wouldn't be a bad strategic VP. I obviously don't really enjoy everything that she stands for. But she would be a very strategic pick. Now, I'd love to know in the comments, in the chat, just chat, let me know what would be your ideal VP candidate for Trump, obviously. And is it somebody that you want because you want to ensure that Trump wins, or is it somebody that you want to be a safeguard for Trump? Is it somebody that you want because of their stance and how similar they are to Trump? What is it? Who is it, and why is it that you want them? I want to go next. Let's see what we got. Also, we have our great live stream from Thursday night. Make sure that you go and check this out. That's a clip. Let's talk about China. And I think there might be actually, what is this? A 13-point drop. This was actually a very interesting poll on Gallup, actually. Give me 1 second. Just gotta retweet the stream. Thanks for letting me know that. All right. So, according to Gallup, Americans are less likely now than they were in 2020 to believe President Biden is able to manage government effectively. And it's actually a 13-point swing here from previously. So let's open this up and just read a little bit about this. Americans are less likely now than they were in 2020 to believe a number of positive personal qualities and characteristics apply to President Joe Biden. The biggest decline has come in a percentage believing Biden is able to manage government effectively, but his scores are down at least 6 percentage points on each characteristic. Over the same period, public impressions of Donald Trump, Biden, likely challenger in 2024 election, haven't changed to a statistically significant degree. So that's what's interesting, guys, here, and you will see this, that let's look at the first category. So, can manage the government effectively. Biden's percentage in 2020 that believed that they would be able to do that was 52%. Today, it's 39%. That's a 13% drop. Whereas for Trump, in 2020, only 48, well, I can say only, but that's almost half. 48% believe that, and now it's at 1% higher, so it's 49%. which is significant to look at when we can talk about other polls and whatnot. But I thought this was actually pretty damn interesting. First of all, it just shows you what a COVID year can do to a president, because I don't necessarily believe that people would have thought that Biden can manage the government more effectively if there wasn't a COVID crisis happening during that election year. Because 2019, at least on books, and I know we've all felt that, was one of the best years, economically speaking, politically speaking as well, in the least the last 3 or 4 decades. Um, let's keep looking at this. So, is likable? Who gives a shit about likable stuff? I mean, are you likable, not likable? At the end of the day, the reason that Trump is not in the White House is because he's not that likable because of his mean tweets. That's why I think that this category is so trash. But apparently 1% of people like Trump a little bit more now, and what is it, about 9% of people dropped it on Biden, so 66% used to like him. Now it's 57%. Again, just because you're likable doesn't, like people are likable doesn't mean that you should be the president of the United States, right? Displays good judgment in crisis. I feel like that's a big one, because 49% used to think that in 2020 before Biden became president. Well, 4 years later, almost 4 years later, of having these disastrous foreign policy stances, is now down to 40%. And not just, foreign policy crisis. Look at the southern border, for example, right? That's pretty damn messy. Now, Trump, 44% believed that he used to display a good judgment in 2020. Well, now it's 45. We'll see what happens with that. So you see not too much of big changes happening for Trump. It just shows you that Biden is just a terrible, terrible president, and now is a terrible, terrible candidate for re-election. So it's actually hilarious to see. I think this pretty much stops here. Everything else that I read on this article was boring, but yeah, that was pretty interesting. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, this was interesting. We can just touch upon this for a second. So this account is probably one of the biggest anti-Israel accounts that likes to stir up a bunch of conspiracies against Israel. So nonetheless, we should attack it, right? No, I'm kidding. Okay, so I found this to be a little bit funny, because they're saying X now requires ID for monetization. Now, everybody that's ever had a blue check like this account itself, in order to get the blue check, you had to show an ID. You literally submitted an ID. Lars, thanks for letting us know that audio is fine. You had to submit an ID in order for you to get this blue check right there. But anyways, they go on to claim that if you don't, there's a good chance your ID will end up in the hands of Israeli intelligence. Why? Well, because the company that does the verification for X is AU10TIX, which is owned by a Jewish guy that used to be in the IDF. Because guess what? When you're born in Israel or living in Israel, when you're 18, you have to go to the IDF. And it's a tech company, so of course it tries to share, its what's it called? Its capabilities with the IDF. And because of all of that, apparently it's a scary thing. But you never heard these people complain as much as they do right now about this whole situation, when they had to submit their IDs to get this blue check verification. So the censored man who's claiming that this is so terrible, this is catastrophic, the only reason they have a blue check in the first place is because they already went through this process. Here's another individual right here, Candace Owens. I really hope this isn't true. Elon Musk, can you provide clarity on the matter? Candace, you have a blue check. You pay for that blue check. Maybe you don't pay for that blue check, but you have a blue check, which means at some point you had to submit your ID for verification. Sovereign Bra, another one of these individuals that likes to do this. He says that this is a honeypot thing, right? Elon bought X and then hired a company with deep connections to Israeli intelligence to handle ID verifications for its users. If you cared so much, you wouldn't have a blue check, right? I mean, these people are just so hypocritical. Matt Kim, look, take my blue check away. I mean, okay, you can do it yourself, brother. You just stop paying for your Twitter blue check, your Twitter services, and you'll be just fine, right? But at some point, and here's what's funnier, is that all these people actually make money. They're monetized on other platforms. The only way that they're able to take 10 grand from TikTok, wink, wink, is by submitting an ID for them and actually submitting a lot of information at the end of the day. And you don't hear them complaining until it has to do with Israel. This is what I call beautiful, just beautifully Israeli derangement syndrome. It just, Israel is constantly on your mind nonstop, which is hilarious. So I thought this was actually funny because like every person here that's complaining about this with a blue check has literally submitted their ID for this. And I mean, if you guys don't believe me, I have a blue check. So the reason I know that is because I've gone through this process. Where is it? Okay, monetization. So your account, premium. See this ID verification right there? Boom. The only way that all of these idiots complaining in the comments about the blue check or about having to show ID for monetization, the only reason that they're able to even get monetization in the first place is because they provided an ID. And guess what? This company that Elon has hired has been around since I'm pretty sure Elon bought the damn company. So I just always find it funny that it's like it always comes down to Israel or not. It's like seriously, it's like some sort like mild version of like how they have Trump derangement syndrome. It's almost the same thing when it comes down to Israel, Jews, whatever it is. What's up, brother? What's going on? Thanks for joining. I hope you enjoyed my little rant right there. But yeah, that's just so funny and just so hypocritical. It's almost at the end of the day, people understand that Israel's a hot topic. It's a trendy thing. So I can say something related to it. I can make something up out of my head. I can forfeit all objectivity. Maybe I'll get some views from it, and then I might get some money from my views. So I'd be taking too many shots this morning at people. No, not literal shots of anything. It's people just really liking my stuff. All right. I want to watch some debates too. So look at that. It's a bunch of me. Let's repost this again. All right. So obviously you guys know where I'm going to now. I want to see some clips from the Tucker and PBD stuff. So what we got here?
Who's going to win the presidential race and why? I think right now, if it ended today, right? If it ended today, Wisconsin, Biden, together. Trump has a big lead, I believe, in Arizona and another state by 11 points, 50 to 39. He's got a 3 to an 11-point lead on the 6 states that matter. They're not even looking at North Carolina. They're like, no, it's going to be this. Red. We don't even want to report it as a battleground. No, not even reporting it. So if it ends today, it's him that's going to win it. However, it's not ending. The amount of that could happen between now and November 5th, it's end gamification. Gamification, manipulation, you call it. There's a lot of things you can do. So for me, there's a part of me where on the left side of my shoulders, there's a guy that's a speechless brain. They told me it's going to be awesome. America's going to be the greatest country in the world, and everything's going to be okay, right? And there's another guy on this side that's super paranoid. But what if? Why would you paranoid? It's not like they're going to unleash a lab-grown virus on the world and like provoke race riots and burn down your cities. Like I don't think they would. Why would you think they're unify? They're not trying to divide. You know that. I guess. Yeah. So I think what you're saying is, you know, if it plays, elections are supposed to play out on the basis of what the population wants, then Trump has a big advantage. But you are open to the possibility that there will be some sort of.
Interesting. Well, nothing new there. It's kind of boring, to be honest. One thing I hate. I mean, obviously Tucker, awesome. PBD, awesome. Whatever. I hate the same like conversation over and over. This isn't new. I mean, we've heard this over and over, but I get it. I mean, it's a podcast, so whatever. Regurgitating the same stuff over and over. That's not my problem. I thought there was more clips out of this. Let's maybe watch some of this. Look, there's some time steps on here. So, reactions to the DOJ using deadly force. That was actually pretty interesting. Let's watch this. All right, I actually want to look it up because this is a story. Deadly force. Because I want to know, like, is this real? Merrick Garland calls Trump's claims about Mar-a-Lago search false and extremely dangerous. Well, him claiming that doesn't help me anything. Maybe we shouldn't go somewhere besides NBC News. That's the difficult thing about this stuff. Is like, where do you even go at this point to figure out the true facts behind all this, right? What does AP say? Why does she like? All right, chat. Is she just screaming at you? I was about to say, look at this. It tracks misinformation for AP. Oh my God. I didn't want to even finish saying what I was thinking there because it's like I saw that before I started reading the article and I was like, how objective this is going to be. But just for the purposes of this, why don't we read this and figure this out, see how objective this is. Former President John pointed to standard language in the unsealed FBI document basis of claimed. Okay. The claim was also boosted online by his supporters, but the language Trump references a standard policy statement used for issuing search warrants and was not unique to the FBI search for his property. Claimed the Biden administration authorized the use of deadly force against former President Trump and his Mar-a-Lago estate when they raided it. The policy statement on the use of deadly force, which appeared in Operations Order for Mar-a-Lago search, is not evidence of a plot to Trump. It is the Department of Justice policy that is standard to include in such documents. The FBI follows standard protocol in its search as we do for all search warrants, which includes a standard policy statement limiting the use of deadly force. Is it standard protocol to allow use of deadly force in an FBI raid? Force when necessary when the agents have a reasonable belief. And now they have all these articles regarding all this stuff. All right, well, I mean, who knows at this point, right? But I mean, it's kind of starting to look like this may all just be BS at the end of the day, just some news story going on. All right, so that's why we do some search. All right, let's see what else topics, because I don't really like listening to BS stuff. I mean, right? I mean, it's a talking point comes out, and then there's a whole podcast about it. You're like, well, what should I do? It's foreign policy splitting the right. You know what? Let's listen to these. Let's go back a little.
If they don't, then the money people have to say, well, you give a lot of, freedom to these guys to make the decision. So then the money people are going to go out and want to raise more money, and who can you now go to raise money? You can definitely go to every single billionaire that's Jewish and say, hey, look what we did. You should be proud of it. They're proud of it. And there's a lot of money there. That money's not going away. That money's all over. So if somebody is forward to do it, and there's a lot of money there, that's an unlimited access to money. So I don't think that's going to go away. Oh my God, baby, why is it going to go away now? They got money. And there's plenty of people that can back them.
They're not going away, not because of that, but because people like them. At the end of the day, if you look at Ben Shapiro, when the whole thing happened with Candace Owens, he didn't lose popularity. The other way around, actually. If you literally look at his analytics, you look at his YouTube page and whatnot. I mean, he just keeps gaining subscribers. He keeps gaining followers. He's not really getting backlash. Sometimes the dangerous thing about living in a quote unquote echo chamber where you're surrounded by people who essentially say the same thing that you're saying and agree with everything that you're saying, that you will end up in a reality. You'll think, how to say this properly. It's a sort of deception for yourself because you believe that the reality is like this, but then you get out of that echo chamber and you understand, well, 8 out of 10 Americans still support Israel. So it's not because some company or somebody has ties to Israel, so they'll forever have money. It's not true at all, but let's keep going.
What media organization on closed doors? What institution, organization will go after anybody that says anything bad about them? In what way? Defamation? They're going to exploit articles? Is that what they're going to do? Who knows? Character assassination? Nobody knows. That's speculative to see what they're going to be doing. So that
it sounds like you're saying that October 7th split the right.
in a big way, in a big way, in a big way, in a big way, massively. And like humanity,
He's not wrong there. He's not wrong.
what Lincoln Project did in 2020, where, you know, we had all these guys on it, and the reports came out, this pedophile that was a big mess. You know, it was like a conversation. One of the most fieriest one we had. Schmidt and Vinny went at it. It was viral all over the place.
I feel like that'd be even more interesting to watch than this, honestly. Let's watch. And I'm not dogging on Tucker and PBD. It's just, again, like we've heard all of this stuff before. All right. Oh, yeah. If you guys just saw Real Time with Bill Maher, forced myself to watch what the hell goes on the left. And I can't really watch the left because they're crazy, but you want to know what the hell's going on there. So at least I'll watch what he considers himself to be a classic Democrat. I'll just consider him to be a sensible individual at this point. Not on everything, because he still has Trump derangement syndrome. But anyways, this is actually a pretty interesting. Trump wants to kill Millie. There is no deep state. Oh, let's see. PBD, Steve Schmidt. This was hilarious. Is there no like clip of him and Vinny just screaming? Oh yeah, there you go. Oh no, this is something different. Man, there's literally a video where he's like, he gets red as anything. All right, whatever. Let's go back to this.
Imagine Lincoln Project. Now you got multiple of them that's going through it. Yeah, and by the way, part of DeSantis Trump was also not a good thing. I think we'll recover from that next time. I think DeSantis makes it the right move right now. Close to Trump, building that relationship. I feel the support. I think that's the right move for him to make. I wish he would have done it earlier, but it's never too late for him to take that route. But I think why didn't he do that? For what? I think he ran for the Republican nomination. I think it was
Is that a dumb question?
No, listen, I said this.
That's what I was worried about. You can't hear. This whole time I'm thinking that you can hear what I'm listening to, but I guess you can't. Oh man, this is the one thing that's unfortunate about I have an audio interface, and for some reason when I play videos on the stream, you just can't hear it. And I really appreciate you letting me know that, because I probably just look dumb for 30 minutes sitting here and it looks like I'm listening to something, but I'm not. All right, let's scroll the internet then, see what we got going on. Got anything new here? Let's see. Man, that sucks that you can't hear the audio on the things that I play, which is wild. I mean, I've tried every single thing. It's literally because of my audio interface here. All right. Well, in that case, chat, I will be back. We'll figure something out with the audio. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.